Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3 was recently released, changing up the scaling of the characters and settling for the final time who are the strongest characters in the show. So in today's video, I'm going to rank the strongest fighters in Season 6 Part 3. But before I start the video, I won't be scaling characters like Dimitri, Kenny, Chosen, and a few other main characters since they didn't have any fight scenes this season. And I know I just said I won't be scaling fighters who didn't have any fights this part of the season, but I'm going to make an exception for Hawk since he is one of the main characters on the show and it wouldn't feel right to not put him on the tier list. And also, he's been one of the strongest fighters in almost every season, so for that reason I have him at the bottom of B tier with Sam and Zara above him. Now you could make an argument for Sam being above Zara and Tori since Sam beat Tori in their little fight that they had and Tori did end up beating Zara. But I'm going to give Tori and Zara the benefit of the doubt since I don't think in the fight against Tori was really trying too much against Sam since she wasn't really fully locked in at that moment. So Sam was able to take advantage of that, and also Tori had more training after that. So I think Tori is above Sam and Zara since she did beat her in the finals. But moving on to the top 3 teen fighters, I have Axel, then Robbie, and Miguel at the top. Now I know the Axel and Robbie placements may be a little bit controversial, so let me explain quickly. Up until the injury, Robbie was doing really well and looked like he might actually win the fight. Once the second round started, Robbie and Axel were going point for point, but towards the end of the second round and up until Robbie got injured, Robbie looked like he was in control of the fight and was overpowering Axel, leading Axel to injuring Robbie as it was the only way he could win the fight. You could make an argument that Axel was fighting worse because he was distracted from Sensei Wolf, but honestly Axel seemed to be fighting better because of Wolf, so I don't think he was really nerfed at all during this fight, so for those reasons I'm going to put Robbie slightly above Axel. As for Miguel being at the top of A tier, I feel like this is a no-brainer. Throughout most of Miguel's fight against Axel, it felt like he was in control besides the second round. Axel could have won the fight by cheating, but he decided to fight fairly, which is why Miguel ended up winning quite easily in this third round. So I think that's more than enough proof to put him at the top of A tier and as the best teen fighter in the show. Moving on to S tier, I've got the adult fighters with Kreese and Terry at the bottom of S tier. Usually Terry would be higher up on the list, but in Season 6 you can notice a big difference in Terry's fighting style, and that difference is that now he's older, so his moves are a lot slower, which puts the younger adult fighters above him. As for Terry being above Kreese, in their fight Terry and Kreese are almost evenly matched. However, at the end of the fight Terry does get the advantage and Kreese only ends up winning by blowing the both of them up. Above them I have Kim Da-eun. Kim got a buff this season since she learned new techniques and ended up killing Kim Sun-young, so she finally has some feats to be able to scale her, but she doesn't come close to the top 3. And I know some people are scaling her as the strongest fighter in the verse just because she kills Kim Sun-young, who is implied to be on the same level as Mr. Miyagi. That is just a dumb argument for a very simple reason, which is that Kim Sun-young is at least 100 years old. Sure, he may still be powerful, but he can hardly move, making it very easy to beat him. Now moving on to the top 3 fighters, I have Sensei Wolf at 3rd spot, Daniel in 2nd, and Johnny in 1st. Johnny being above Wolf is quite self-explanatory. In their fight, once Johnny is fully focused, Johnny is clearly the better fighter as he ends up beating Wolf. As for Daniel being above Wolf, this is because in their fight against Wolf in Part 2, Johnny and Daniel were around at the same level and couldn't beat him. In Part 3, Johnny only had 1 day of training before his fight, implying that he was still at around the same level that he was on in Part 2, and he did that training with Daniel. So that should mean that Daniel is around the same level as Johnny, if not tied with him. But that's all for today's video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Use the link in the description to make your own tier list for Part 3, and if you haven't watched my video where I reviewed Season 6 Part 3, go watch it right here.